Hey there, this is Arthur Hill, Chief Technical Strategist at TrendInvestorPro.com. You are tuned into Next Level Charting. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it. If you're watching this video on YouTube, and you like it, of course, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing. So today we're going to dive into the Momentum Composite. I'm going to show you the 5 indicators that make up this indicator, the Momentum Composite. And what it does is it aggregates overbought and oversold signals in 5 momentum oscillators, if you will. And you can use this indicator to look for pullbacks within a bigger uptrend or overbought conditions within a bigger downtrend. So let's hit those charts. So here I am on StochCharts ACP, and I've got the 5 indicators that make up the Momentum Composite. And if I go over to the top left and open up the chart settings, there you can see these 5 indicators. Now, 2 are duplicates, Bollinger Bands and %B. I use %B to identify that oversold signal in Bollinger Bands when you dip below the lower band. We've got RSI 10 period. We've also got StochClose, which is the stochastic oscillator based on closing prices. We've got the commodity channel index based on closing prices, and normalized ROC, the rate of change. And what that indicator does is you take the 20 period absolute change in prices and you divide it by the 20-day average true range. And that normalizes it, and that means you can compare it against other ETFs or stocks, if you will. So I'm going to look at these indicators individually to show you how they work. So first of all, we've got RSI, and I think we all know RSI. And I'll open up this pane a little bit so you can see. But I'm using 10 periods because RSI is a pretty sensitive or non-sensitive indicator, should I say. If you use 14-day, you're not going to get below 30 a lot because in particular, I'm looking for oversold conditions within an uptrend. I'm not very keen on overbought conditions within a downtrend, especially with stocks, because stocks have an upward trajectory overall, and playing the short side is usually pretty dangerous anyway. So if we look at DBE here, which is the energy ETF, we can see that RSI dipped below 30 there in August to become oversold, and also in late November and December to become oversold. And I'll put the crosshair on here so you can see that on the chart. So you get oversold, and that leads to a bounce there. And you got oversold here in August, and that led to a bounce. Now, the next indicator is %B, and that's right here in this window just below RSI. And it goes below 0. I added a horizontal line there so you can see when it goes below 0. And if you look at the price chart, you can see when you go below that lower Bollinger Band and you go to the left there, you can see it's a 20-period Bollinger Band with 2 standard deviations. And so when we go below that lower band, %B goes below 0, and that is an oversold condition. And you can see that this one becomes oversold a lot more often than RSI becomes oversold. You had oversold readings in March and April, in July, in August when RSI was oversold, here in November, and then in late November, early December when RSI was oversold. But when you go below that lower Bollinger Band on a short-term basis, that creates an oversold condition, and that says maybe I want to be on alert for a potential bounce. The next indicator I'm using is a version of stochastics. We all know the normal stochastic oscillator. It's usually 14 periods with a 3-period smoothing. And in this version, I'm using 20 periods. And I'm not using any smoothing, but it's only based on the closing prices because typically stochastics is based on the intraday high and low. And I found that that can create a little bit of extra noise. And so that's why I created StochClose, which is only based on closing prices. And so on this 20-period StochClose, I'm looking for a dip below 5, basically, to say we're oversold. We're near a 20-day closing low is what that is telling you when you go below 5. And so you can see March, April, we're below 5. July, we're below 5. And I'll put on the crosshair, even though I find it quite irritating. But there you go, we're below 5. And here in August, below 5. And in November and into early December, below 5. So a lot of oversold readings there in November, December as DBE fell. And you can see it kind of fell down that lower Bollinger Band and kind of hugged the band on the way down. But we were getting some oversold readings in StochClose as well. The next indicator is the Commodity Channel Index, and I'm using 20 periods for the Commodity Channel Index. And Donald Lambert, the creator of the Commodity Channel Index, used the intraday high and low as well. But I've elected only to use closing prices. And so using 20 periods, when we go below minus 200, that is oversold. And there you can see some dips below minus 200. We didn't have a dip in March and April. But this is similar, say, to RSI. It's a little bit more volatile as far as the swings are concerned. But below minus 200, and you have an oversold condition that could lead to a bounce. And the last indicator is normalized rock. And what this is looking for, it's set, you can see the horizontal lines are at -3 and +3. And again, I'm typically looking for oversold conditions within a bigger uptrend. And so when this indicator dips below 3, that means you've had a decline, a 20-day decline that was greater than 3 20-period ATR, average true range readings. An average true range is a measure of volatility, but it's an absolute measure. And so by using that absolute measure, you take the absolute change in prices over 20 days divided by the 20-period ATR. And when you get a 3 ATR decline, that's a bit excessive, and that creates an oversold condition. And so you can see we're oversold in April. We're oversold again there in August, and we were oversold for an extended period from the 19th of November all the way until the 17th of December. So an extended oversold condition. Now, the method behind the madness in the Momentum Composite is we never know which indicators are going to become oversold and when. And so that's why I'm using 5 here. And so if you look here in March, you can see RSI wasn't oversold, but percent B was oversold. StochClose was oversold. Commodity Channel Index was not oversold. But the rock ATR, it's the normalized rock basically, became oversold there in April. So we had 3 of the 5 oversold, and that means the Momentum Composite would be at -3. If we go to July, we can see that 4 of them were oversold: RSI, percent B, StochClose, Commodity Channel Index, but the normalized rock was not. And then we go to August, and we can see that all 5 became oversold. So that was a very oversold condition there. And then we go to November, and we can see that we started getting 3 or 2 oversold in early November, and then we got more oversold in the second half of November, and especially after that sharp decline there. So let's look at the Momentum Composite, because it is putting all these indicators together and aggregating the signals. All right, so now we have a bigger and cleaner chart. We don't have all 5 of those indicators plus Bollinger Bands. And the bottom window, I've got the Trend Composite, which I talked about 2 weeks ago, and it's what I use to define the overall trend. So when you've got an uptrend, when this is green, then you look for oversold signals and short-term bullish setups. And so if we look at the Momentum Composite, we can see here in July, we were quite oversold and we got an immediate bounce. And then we were pretty good oversold in the second half of August, August 19th, for 2 days when the Momentum Composite got to -5 twice, and we got a really nice bounce. And then we got oversold here. We got a 2-day bounce, but fell again. Sometimes you become oversold and you stay oversold. And that's why sometimes you need a little short-term catalyst to suggest that move has ended. And so we can see we became oversold here at the end of November and into early December, and then got a bounce, and that bounce extended to a new high. So here is XOP, the oil and gas exploration and production ETF. And if we look here, we can see we get oversold there in November, but it continues down. So sometimes you get oversold and you don't get that bounce or reversal. And that's when you got to look at the chart and look for some sort of a breakout. And so we can see when we became oversold, we kept on declining. But if we look at the overall picture, we had a big advance to new highs. We had a pullback that formed like a falling wedge. And then we got the wedge breakout. And that wedge breakout was the bullish signal there. And if you look, you can see the Trend Composite was bullish as well. It had a little whipsaw there in August and September, but that stuff does happen. But once you become oversold, that's the move to say, hey, go on alert, look at the chart, watch for a breakout or some sort of short-term upside catalyst. So I would like to show you some current setups where you have an uptrend and an oversold condition, but I went through my database of over 250 ETFs, and I didn't find any of them that were oversold and in uptrend. So I don't see any setups as far as pullbacks within uptrends here. Here's DBB, the base metals ETF. If we look at SPY, which has had a bounce recently, we can see the Trend Composite did turn bearish, but we can see the Momentum Composite has yet to become overbought. So we're in the midst of a bounce here, but we have yet to become overbought. So if you're looking for an overbought condition in a downtrend, you would look at the Trend Composite to be negative and watch for a move to 3, 4, or 5 in the Momentum Composite. And if you want to know more about the Momentum Composite, there's a plugin icon at the lower right. Click on that icon and you can scroll down, and there is a link with information on the Trend Investor Pro Indicator Edge plugin. There are 11 indicators in this plugin. And of course, check out trendinvestorpro.com if you're interested in a systematic approach. I updated the composite breadth model for market timing this week, and I'm also started a series on the Trend Composite strategy. The second part came out this week, and part 3 will be next week. So if you'd like to know more about trendinvestorpro.com, you can click on the link below in the description. Again, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to StockCharts. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again next week.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.